This is an SABC News presentation.
Good morning and welcome to our Tuesday edition of A View from the House. I'm Abra Barbia. This is our final week of broadcasting as we're coming to an end of this year's parliamentary session. On Friday, the House will rise for the summer recess. Today, we continue our coverage of President Jacob Zuma's reply to questions from members of Parliament on his Nkandla residence. Because of time last week, we couldn't slot in questions from MPs. So today we look at follow-up question from members to the President's extensive explanation on the development of his Nkandla home. In his reply to a question asked by DA parliamentary leader Lindiwe Mazibuko, the President said his home was not built by government and that he was only asked to allow the installation of security features there. We pick up on a follow-up question asked by the DA's Lindiwe Mazibuko.
Honourable Speaker, let me be very clear. The fact that the Honourable President's house is his own home, built by himself, is exactly what is at issue today. The fact that the government is spending 250 million rand to upgrade not a presidential house, but the President's own house, built by himself, his own private residence, not a state residence. This is what is at issue today. And clearly the Honourable President is determined to hide behind the same apartheid laws that his ministers are determined to hide behind. So, Honourable Speaker, I do have a follow-up question because, Honourable President, if you want to talk about security enhancements, let's talk about security enhancements. 31 new buildings, 66 of which cost 8 million rand each. Is that a security enhancement? 2.3 million rand for lifts to carry the Honourable President to his underground bunker. Is that a security enhancement? Is air conditioning systems for every one of the houses at a cost of 1.5 million rand, air conditioning, is that a security enhancement? Is a visitor centre, a gymnasium, and guest rooms, are these security enhancements? Mr. Speaker, I will be very clear. The fact that this is the Honourable President's private home is something that we take exception to. The government does not have a responsibility to upgrade at a cost of 250 million rand the private home of the Honourable President.
Speaker, over and above the rules of this House, we have a constitution in this country. And to my knowledge, there's a Bill of Rights in that constitution, which is binding on this House as well. And in that Bill of Rights, there is a right to privacy. I cannot understand why every other South African has a right to privacy except the President, the first citizen of this country. Can't the Honourable Leader of the Opposition Can't the Leader of the Opposition respect the right to privacy of the President?
Continue, Honourable Member.
Honourable Speaker, when the public have to pay 250 million rand to upgrade that privacy, it ceases to be private. Honourable President, do the gym, the guest rooms, the air conditioning, the visitors centre, the 31 new buildings, do these constitute security enhancements? Thank you very much.
Once again, the Honourable Member is premising his question on an information that is not accurate. The additional houses that I put in my home, there are 5. There are 5, only 5. And that's what I can speak about. She's giving a huge number of houses that I have nothing to do with. And she then adds the amount of money on houses that I've never paid. Nobody had paid my houses for anything. I paid for my houses. There are 5, my honourable member. 5 additional to the rondavels I talked about. Don't include things that don't belong to me. Don't push them to me. Talk about things that belong to me, that I paid for. What the security has done for security features does not include the houses you are counting. They are not in my residence. They are not in my home, those houses. Ask the question differently to the relevant people who could answer you that question. Ask me about 5 houses that we are talking about, and I'll give you the answer.
There was no follow-up question from the UDM. However, its leader, Bantu Holomisa, had a word of advice for the president.
Amalala. Dictingba explanation oyinikleyo. Ube yayinikwe nguminister or responsible kokuqala. Ngolhlobo uyibeke ngalo. Mhlawumbe ngeyibucaca lomgcini. Now since ke usithi uba le parliament eyafuna uxoxa lo mcimbi ingawuxoxa kodwa bendawusuggesta uba yi-national key point lamzi wakho ngoku ngenxa yoba ke ungumongameli. Mna bendawucebisa uba speaker xa ngaba ke kuyavunyelwana kuthunyelwe ikomiti eyaskrinwayo apha eparlament, portfolio committee ye-intelligence enokwazi uku-assessa
Order, honourable members.
uyiminister into yiyo yacebisa apha kwingxaki apha
Order, honourable members.
kuthunyelwe leyo portfolio committee izoverifya zonke izinto kuba aba kuthiwa mabophanda o-audita nontoni abaskrinwanga abanye babo. This is security risk exercise. Ndicela nje uba niyiconsiderishe ungabungqola nje wena ungazinto apha.
If I heard honorable member is making a proposal, there is investigation already taking place. I would imagine the honorable member is perhaps correctly saying, let us have all the facts and we can discuss intelligently. Because at the moment we are going to be asking questions based on false information. And I think if this House would want to discuss anything from that angle, it's not going to help. And I think that proposal, which is being made, is a proposal for this House to consider. Insofar as I'm concerned, the minister has said is sending an investigating team, and I'm hoping there will be facts gathered, or the Auditor General, the Public Protector has said is doing preliminary investigation or whatever. I think the member is saying you need screened people because of the fact that it is a security point. I think it's a very sensible point he's making. Because in no country, these kind of matters are discussed in public. And I think he's sobering this House. And I'm sympathetic to his proposal.
Well, Anshan Dreyer of the Democratic Alliance had a follow-up question with regard to the amount of money spent by the Department of Public Works for the upgrade of President Zuma's Nkandla home.
Mr. Speaker, if the President is disputing the figures given by the Leader of the Opposition and the previous Speaker, will he commit to giving us the correct figures spent by the Department of Public Works, as well as a breakdown of the items on which this money has been spent?
If the honourable member thinks that I must know the book counting of a department and count figures, I think it's demanding too much. I don't know the figures. That's not my job to do so. The proposal which is being made by the honourable member, that we need people properly screened to get the facts, so that your honourable leader does not ask a question and give figures to me that don't belong to me.
Mr. Velaphi Ndlovu of the IFP had an issue with the Minister of Public Works. He suggested the minister be called to Parliament to account for the debacle.
Lokukhuluma ngaze kube kuningi kangaka nje mhlonishwa udalwa uminister wakho lo wa Public Works. Ngoba ukuba uminister wakho wa Public Works wachaza njengobuchaza nje ngakukho konke lokukhuluma. Manje ke indaba la yonakala khona yonakala ngoba akakwazi ukuhlukanisa izinto phakathi. Ngakho ke lokho kuphakanyiswa umhlonishwa wolomisa noma wawemukela mongameli. Kodwa umhlonishwa unxesi must come to this house and tell us ukuthi wethini kanti ngomuzi wakho.
Honorable Speaker, well, the honorable member is making a suggestion to this House, and I think it is this House that has the right to respond to that, because I can't determine what this House must do. But I think that's an issue the honorable member is making, and I don't know whether the minister was asked the right question from the beginning. I don't know, because he must have answered on the basis of what questions were presented to him. I'm not sure he was asked to describe the details of how my residence was built, not just now. He was dealing with a specific issue, as I understood, which was asked to him, and he responded to those issues. But if there's a proposal, I don't think one would have a problem with that.
Now, the Prevention and Combating of Torture of Persons Bill was supported by all parties and passed by Parliament. That's our story after the break. Don't go away.